It is January 9th, 2023, and here we gather for our level 10 entertainment prep meeting. Woo! And everyone's got the calendar link in it. I figured I didn't actually give people a preface of why it's called a level 10. And I figured I'd just kind of dive into it a little bit here so we can kind of get a grounding on it and understand like what the purpose of the meeting is. I mean, we all kind of know what it is, but also why it's this. So myself and all the managers, we attend something called EOS. I might have mentioned before, not the kind of EOS that we know like end of show reports, but rather it's an organizational system for managers like operating and running businesses. And one of their key central tenements is running level 10 meetings. Meetings where we have accountability, people have their things in places, which is why you probably heard me say that word more often recently than in the past. But it's a way for us to really make sure that we are covering all of our bases, keep these meetings short and efficient, while allowing for a space for us to understand like overall goals and what are things we should be looking at for maybe looking at 14-day forecasts, etc. So we're going to continue to like work on the structure and see how it hones in. It's not going to be a true level 10 like we do on a weekly basis, but it'll be something near it so we can make sure that we are all doing our part. But let's start off first with just a roundtable check-in on people. Let's go over to Johnny. Johnny, what I like your green wall in the background. I feel like I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Um, it was a good weekend. Just I feel very accomplished in some of my personal other video editing stuff. My event was not great because I did not feel well, but it was still a good weekend. And here we are back at it for another week.
Well, it sounds like the client still had a good time with it, like
Oh.
as you reported in your EOS. So that's great. Also, girls, can you hear Johnny just fine?
Yeah.
Cool, sweet. If you didn't tell by my somewhat sardonic offhand remark, we're in my office, so that's why the walls are the same color. Mylena, you laughed at me, which makes me feel good, and I'm gonna let you go next so we can feel good about some great things in your life recently.
I had my first event of the year in a really long time because I've been doing just event prep. And it went really good. It was really like chill. Not a lot of kids came to the photo booth. There was like it was one of those events where it was like, yeah, I had a couple here and there. That was it, but it was really good.
Yeah, you're
Um,
the venue she was in was Cleveland Marriott East, which is like 10 minutes from here. And it's a very long room, depending on how much of the space the client books. And it ends up being, I don't know, I'd say the length of almost our shop in distance from like the front to the back. It's long. And then you have the DJ in the middle, and then on each far side there's something. So it's pretty difficult. Did Chris ever push anyone over to photo like via a microphone?
yeah. hmm He kept like saying like, "Oh, how's my photo host over there?" And I'd be like just sitting there with no one there.
It's also a particularly dark room too, because there's no windows, and then it was also dark as well. But um, regardless, I'm sure it went really well. Clients actually already got back to us saying the event went well. So, and
Mhm.
they had overall all good things good to say. I'll go next. This weekend was a lot for me. There's four mitzvahs. One was in Kentucky, as we know, with the 360 booth. And it was kind of the first big weekend of the year with four mitzvahs. It's a lot of mitzvahs, honestly. It's a lot of staff members. But generally, I'd say it went well. For photo stuff, which we'll get to in just a second with a little quick review, I'd say pretty happy, and we might be developing a partnership. For those who worked Boo at the Zoo, the Monster Mash dance party at any point, we had the character team that was out there. We're looking to investigate some kind of partnership where we can get a bunch more potential entertainers, performers, dancers through their team with a partnership where their team can also then get on-site experience very similar to what they got in the zoo at our events. So we might have a bunch of new people in and around the events because they were generally pretty interested in what we did. So that's great. I also had Tech Week for my show, which opens Thursday, which is Avenue Q. I think we're all just ready to get the show on its feet. Enough with like the rehearsal. Let's just do. It's kind of like I think how we're all feeling. But yeah, that was mine. Julie.
I had a pretty chill weekend. I didn't have any shows, but I bartended Friday, and then I went and saw the new Avatar movie on Saturday.
And that took up all your Saturday, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And then uh, what did I do? Just had like a little game night last night with some friends.
Nice.
So that was cool. Mhm.
And one more little bit of positivity for everyone here. I just got off an impromptu lunch meeting with a few top team members in the shop, Sean and Guffin. And they just said, like, in general, they really appreciate what you guys do on the prep side of things, be it Julie helping out with the rigs and like hardworking, Johnny, attentiveness, Melina, you've only been there for a little bit, but they do appreciate the communication. So just from an overall sense, like, we kind of live in our own world sometimes in entertainment, but y'all have really done positive vibes in and around Seven. So please keep it up and keep up that nice work ethic that we have with our wonderful production team members. US review. So we had, if I'm right, Melina and or Johnny, 4 photo things that went out. Is that right? This last week?
Yes.
Great. On the side of all the things so far, looking at EOS stuff, for our prep side, we were 100%. Functionality, we were more at 75. And I know, Johnny, we kind of talked a little bit about this. There were a few things that happened with the booths, and I think, Johnny, yours might actually be another one as well, bring us down to 50. But you said that the tablet and the app weren't exactly working. Is that right?
Yeah, the tablet itself would not charge at all, so it wouldn't turn on. And then I had it plugged in to charge, and then the Apple logo would pop up like it was getting ready to start, and then it would go off again. So it's like, I don't know if it just won't charge, if that's the deal or what it was, but luckily, knowing how to troubleshoot that on the booth and go back on the booth and get all the photos printed off and whatever was helpful. But
Good. Good. I mean, and I'm glad that the training got there, because that's a really important thing, that we know how to do different solutions. But we do hold ourselves accountable for an element of making sure all the tablets go out charged, which is why we have that tablet charger. From our side, can we say we had them plugged in, all the tablets, and we took them off the charge, putting them in the booth?
I always make sure they're plugged in.
yeah,
Great.
I do believe that one was actually charged or something, so that might be
Okay.
something we investigate. But
It might be the tablet itself then. So let's investigate the tablet. That is the difference between prep miss and then also functionality miss. So let's just take a look at that and see, and then we can kind of report back. But it sounds like if we can attest that we don't keep the tablets in, that we put them in the charging block, take them off and put them in, great. The only step I might say to add to us then in that situation is to make sure when it plugs in, the light turns red at the bottom and it has that green charging icon. Because if we're not doing that and it's not charging, then we're just letting it sit there and die. So just making sure that that is something that happens, then we can make sure we never get that miss. The other one is the Vitali booth. Johnny, I know I mentioned to you this one's strange. And I know I kind of mentioned to you as well, Mylena. It's like the settings for the thing went back to neutral, like completely, like in the way under the green screen, where we can select the different green screens. Originally, initially, it has a bunch of presets, like I'm on a roller coaster, or I'm on a red carpet. We took all those off so we could just have our designs, because that's the way that they happen. When I got word that there was things that were missing and that the camera wasn't ready, I logged on to AnyDesk and all the settings were back to neutral. It was wacky. The camera was fine. It's because under the camera, it starts off with all those little dots selected for webcam, not DSLR. And that's one of those things that I wouldn't necessarily expect every one of our photo hosts to catch right away. But when I got on there and I was doing it remotely, I'm like, wow. And then all those designs were also there. So it was hyper odd. So Johnny, I want to make sure we're going to set that up and just do like just some work on it. Have you? Go ahead.
I did actually get that set up, and it is not printing because of this thing right here not working. So you said that maybe somebody bumped it. I don't know what's going on with it, but this does not appear to be working in the booth. This is the Fire Stick, not the Fire Stick, the internet stick that will not
The Netgear stick.
let the boot connect to Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So therefore, none of the events are loading up, and I can't actually test print either for some reason.
Okay. Number one, I appreciate the dramatic reveal of it being in your pocket.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
Number two, there might be a better place to plug it in, or is it just not plugging into anything at all?
Yeah, it did. I tried where it was originally plugged in, and then I tried the USB on the side, and nowhere that I plugged it in is it registering.
All right.
No lights are coming on, anything like that. I didn't know if there was another like totally different device I could test this on to see is it this or is it the booth reading it. I didn't
Because
know
it would be, that's the one that had it like in the USB, right? Like,
yes.
like the one that we usually
Yeah,
use.
like underneath.
You're welcome to set up another one and see if it does that. And maybe it's just like a faulty USB. And then that can be a pretty easy temporary fix of like getting another USB splitter.
Okay.
That's something you can do, like keep that one set up in there and then set another one up maybe outside, whatever have you. The other thing I can do as well, like the report back to me, tell me, is it the USB stick or is it the input? And then I can try and reach out to LA Photo Party and say, hey, this stick is now broken. Can we get a replacement, or can you tell us where to get a replacement?
Right.
So thank you for letting me know that.
Absolutely.
So those are the two things from the last weekend. Photo plan for this week. Y'all ready? We're gonna dig deep. We did it. Woo, good job.
Nice.
No photo this week, but it is leading to next week, which does have quite a number of things. So let's just make sure we're checking inventory, that we have everything we need. There's a relatively big event that's happening. Johnny, I still have to switch you to that other event too, which reminds me, I got to make sure that gets in there. So you can do the Guardians events.
Let's go. That's a dub.
Excellent. Yeah, so there's that element. Julie, we had a couple challenges with rigs as well.
Okay.
What happened? And we had one challenge with Vitali and one with Moretti. And I think this might be a larger problem with a recent update on VDJ. So do you plan on coming in at some point this week?
Yeah, whatever day we schedule a meeting, I'm gonna stay for a few hours and work on rigs.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
But what was the issue? What were the issues, do you know?
Yeah. So Vitali was the mitzvah. The initial computer, which was a larger MacBook, basically all the files were reading not found. So this might be we have to like re-up it or something, or refresh it using the files and such that we have in the backups. But I brought another one out. And then later on, some kid was jumping on the stage and then it unjimmied the cords or something. And they had to refresh all that stuff. I don't quite know, but I would say let's just look at that computer. And then Moretti, that's when we had a larger critical booth failure, which is I think we're gonna probably have to hand it off to someone else to look at video, because video was having a problem on the screens for the mitzvah. And we actually had to send out one of our video technicians to do a whole nother jerry rig kind of setup. But the thing that did not work on that one, which was the aux on channel 4, because VDJ was slowing down a bit because we sent out unvetted videos. Like the client just gave us the video at the event, which we know we don't do here. Like we get it ahead of time, we have everything prepped. But the client was like, okay, now I got ready. Here you go. So I feel like that might be part of it, possibly. I can't like confirm or deny. But if we could make sure, so grab like the computer and the rig for, let me just double check to make sure I have this right. No, it's sorry, it's not Moretti, it's Gordon. Gordon. What I'm gonna do right now is I'll take a screen cap and then we'll put it in the Discord so you don't have to remember it, but it'll be right there. So let's look at that one and see exactly what happened with that shenanigan. Great. So let's Moretti is actually that's the sharing app one as well. It's because there's Vitali and then Moretti. That was yours actually, Johnny. Your wedding.
Moretti,
yeah. And that's the green screen. So if it's a Netgear stick for yours, let's take a second to figure out why the green app wasn't working for you. Is essentially
green app wasn't working.
It was working? I thought you said it wasn't in the US.
No, it wasn't working on the tablet because the tablet didn't come up.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I could go under and pull them off.
Cool. Let's go next to a suggestion that I thought was very good from Mylena, and that is scheduling. She made a really good point about, especially with her coming onto the team, and basically like, Johnny, Julie, and Elena, you all trained together and kind of like were able to think tank off each other in the initial couple weeks, which was great. As she is now coming into the team, I think it would be very valuable to make sure that we're syncing up schedules so that everyone has a support system, and we can kind of know like what's coming down the pipeline. One of the big benefits of y'all being on this prep team is the flexibility of scheduling. And I want to maintain true to that. But I also think that there is some value as well to us knowing going into the week who's going to be in shop when. Like Julia, I often ask you like what day are you coming in, because I know that your other job at the bar might pull you on different days. But I feel like you might know what your schedule is at least 2 weeks out based on conversations we've had in the past. So what I might posit, and I've kind of come up with 3 solutions, we can kind of roundtable right now, is putting in your hours when you're going to come in. Would we like to do it the Sunday of or the Monday morning of, 2 weeks out, or monthly? I think all 3 of those are pretty reasonable expectations. But I would love to know, based on people's schedules, what should we hold ourselves accountable for putting our hours in?
I don't mind doing it the Sunday of. Like, I don't need to know everyone's schedules 2 weeks in advance, or just at least for that week is what.
And I like you.
How
Sounds
about
good.
how about this as an expectation? Because we can hold ourselves accountable for this. Our hours should be in by this meeting for the week.
Okay.
Is that reasonable?
Mm-hmm.
To flow into the Monday as well, like the next Monday of this
Yeah.
week.
So like you schedule now, so it's like from Monday to Monday kind of situation. I think it's completely fair. So we'll go Monday to Monday.
I just don't want to miss who's going to be here on the next Monday.
Yeah, completely fair. So we'll let's do Monday to Monday. To put your hours in, let's use the calendar app on the prep team calendar. It's pretty self-intuitive. Like you can just put on like, so let me see if I can just do it here. I'll do a quick little screen share. All right, here we go. So let's go into prep team, Google Calendar. Then I would go as simple as create an event and be like Johnny hours Monday.
We're still on DJP, by the way.
Oh, you're still on DJP? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Let me, oh, I know. Okay, got it. That's when I created a new window. I think that's what happened. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
So we'll just X this out, go back from top. So Google Calendar. Create event and put like Johnny hours, and then Monday using in what, like 10?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then going to like 10, typically see about 4, right?
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. So there, it's now in there. We can see his hours. I might even like, it might even be in as so much valuable as, can we color code this? Yeah, we could also color.
There should be way to add colors.
Yeah, so we can also color code this too. Pick a color. Who wants what color?
Green.
All right. I appreciate you snapped that off, Julie. That was great. So Julie Green.
I'll do purple.
Oh, see, now that's my favorite color. I like that. And then Johnny?
I gotta do red.
Did you all know, and this is just science here, that the 2 most common colors are red and blue?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a fascinating thing for me. So I think this is a fair expectation. Just like coat your color. Apparently it's not red, it's tomato. Fun fact. Apparently it's tomato. Weird. Save, and now we know who's in on what time. We can see visually there with the colors. Is everyone good with this?
Yep.
If we could start to do that, I think that'd be great, and it'll help everyone out to make sure that we can do things. I still want us to stay to the tasks. I still want us to stay to the photo plan so that we know who gets done what. Again, the flexibility is kind of the important part of it. So it's kind of like, this and this and this. And right now it is the slow time. So it's kind of like, yeah, we're gonna get done. It's gonna be easy and what have you. But once it gets to April and May, it's gonna pick back up again. And Julie, like right now, we can be nice and relax on like DJ rigs, but eventually we're going to need some help on like the photo stuff. And I would also expect that Mylena and Johnny, y'all help out with some of that rig maintenance in the long term too, even if it's specific direction, like WD-40 or sanitizing the top of it. We want to make sure it's sending out nice and healthy for our team. Just align that those expectations will come back down there. Last thing I have on my list here is post accountabilities for Elena. So she is, as of today, officially phasing out of the prep team. But the good news is we've got Mylena coming right underneath to kind of help us out, which is great. What this means is we had kind of everyone have their own specific accountabilities. So we might have to change some things under tasks here. But I wanted to kind of reevaluate. And Mylena, we mentioned that last week for you to kind of take a look at the things that are done, and then for us to kind of report back and see what are accountabilities that you're willing to shoulder and help out with, where you feel your strengths lie and where you think you can be consistent. Julie, I want you to keep on keeping on with what you're doing. You know the flow. Maybe at some point, let's make sure we're showing someone else. So if you're ever gone for a week, that we can still just make sure that we have that, but I want to keep you where you are. Mylena, talk to me. Where does your interest lie? Especially you had a chance to explore Snap Pick and 360 booth programming. Where are you at right now?
I actually really liked doing the 360 booth. It was really fun to play with and like Snap Pick. So I did enjoy that. And I like the organizational side of things. So like doing the photo plan every week. I like being able to do that. So that way I can look at everything and know what's coming up and know what we need.
Great. And you feel comfortable with all the software and such?
Mm.
Okay. So then it sounds like basically we can just one for one and say, you know, Elena was doing digital and she was doing the photo plan. Johnny, you're there as well, helping out with that stuff too, making sure that we have a double check system so we're not missing anything. So I think we can just maintain to that. And then Johnny, you still like you got your hands on a lot of booths often. So you're one of the point people getting your hands on the booths, and then also inventory. So I think we're in a fair place there with those accountabilities. Is everyone Gucci? Everyone feel fair with what they're doing, hours they're putting in, stuff like that right now?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Please anticipate very soon things to change, and I'm hoping benefits to change as well for the prep team. So stand by on some of those things. And yeah, that's kind of my last things I have here on the list. Let's see. Does anyone else have anything they want to bring out there? Ideas, thoughts, suggestions, things needing to address?
Oh no, there was something. Oh no.
Do you have to sneeze?
No, there was something that was like.
Not you? Johnny, the good news is we have a Discord. You can pop in the Discord later on. Don't feel stop beating yourself up.
Wow.
She got it.
I had it and I was thinking about it the whole meeting and now I lost it again.
So that's why I always have a notepad with me. All right. Let's wrap this one up here. Julie, you know what to do. Put a time on my calendar. Johnny, let's make sure we put time on the calendar as well for recording we got another project, which is putting on the booth person away, taking a break kind of screen and doing a little tutorial on that. Johnny, you know what to do with that. We'll go find time. And yeah, let's bring this meeting to a close. Thanks everybody. While we have no booths this week, there's plenty of little things that we can do potentially. So if you have an idea for a project, now's a good time to pop it in there. So we can, like, if you want to maintain the hours, and we can still do that. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. As they say, you rock.